Star Trek, Section 31, 2025, centers on Emperor Philippa Georgiou, the former ruthless ruler of the Terran Empire from the Mirror Universe, as her violent past collides with a covert Federation mission that could determine the fate of the galaxy. The film opens with an extended flashback to Georgiou's childhood on Terra in the Mirror Universe. She recounts the brutal imperial contest that shaped her into a tyrant. As a child, she was taken from her home and forced into a deadly competition designed to produce the purest embodiment of Terran ideology, merciless strength. Contestants were systematically eliminated over years of trials until only two remained, Philippa and a boy named San. Though friendship was forbidden, they secretly relied on each other to survive, whispering loyalty in a system that demanded betrayal. In the final trial, only one could rule while the other would serve for life. Philippa ultimately chose power over compassion. San failed the final test and was forced into servitude as she claimed the throne. The memory of their bond and her betrayal haunts her. As emperor, she later commissioned a catastrophic weapon called the Godsend, designed as a final act of vengeance should she ever be overthrown. The weapon would trigger a chain reaction of planetary annihilation across an entire quadrant, ensuring that if she could not rule, nothing would remain to rule. San, broken by what she had become, ultimately took his own life rather than live in the world she built, calling her a monster. This trauma underpins Georgiou's hardened exterior in the present timeline. Years later, in the Prime Universe, Georgiou, introduced originally in Star Trek Discovery, has been living under an alias, Madame Veronique Dufranc, running a decadent space station called the Veram beyond Federation borders. A clandestine branch of Starfleet intelligence known as Section 31 tracks her down. Though once recruited into their ranks after crossing universes, she has since gone rogue. Now Section 31 faces a new threat, a black market bioweapon sale involving a scientist named Georgiou. Because Federation treaties prevent official Starfleet intervention beyond the border, a cover team must handle the situation off the books. The team is led operationally by Alok Sahar, a hardened operative with a traumatic past tied to Earth's eugenics wars. Assigned alongside him is Lieutenant Rachel Garrett, a principled Starfleet officer temporarily attached to ensure the mission does not devolve into outright assassination. The rest of the team includes a colorful and volatile mix of specialists: Mel, a seductive dealt in empathy; Zeph, a heavily augmented soldier with a complex relationship to his mechanized body; Quasi, a brilliant but scattered scientist who sees branching possibilities in every scenario; and Fuzz, an Anakin, essentially a colony-based life form piloting a Vulcan-shaped robotic shell. Their banter underscores the uneasy blend of Starfleet idealism and Section 31 pragmatism. Georgiou immediately sees through their attempted covert infiltration. Rather than resist arrest, she negotiates. She recognizes the value of leverage and offers to help them in exchange for being brought back into meaningful action. When Georgiou arrives at the station to complete his sale, Georgiou improvises a bold theft. Using a device called a phase pod that shifts vibrational states, she phases herself out of sync with reality long enough to steal the weapon case directly from him. The situation spirals into chaos, resulting in a firefight in which Mel is killed. The loss fractures the team and deepens suspicion toward Georgiou. Upon examining the stolen device, Georgiou is visibly shaken. She recognizes it immediately, the Godsend, the apocalyptic weapon she ordered built in the Mirror Universe. Its presence in the Prime Universe is impossible unless someone crossed over. Georgiou, under interrogation, is revealed not to be the Prime Universe scientist they expected, but his mirror counterpart. He explains that a recurring ion storm anomaly near the Crescent Nebula opens a temporary passage between universes. Facing ecological collapse, famine, and resource exhaustion, the Terran Empire seeks expansion. When they realize the Godsend is missing, they will inevitably use the anomaly to invade the Prime Universe, enslaving or annihilating everything in their path. The stakes escalate. If the weapon detonates, it will devastate an entire quadrant. If it is returned to the Empire, it may trigger invasion. If left unaddressed, the Empire will come looking for it anyway. Internal tensions erupt. Garrett insists on minimizing casualties and preventing assassination, while Alok argues that survival sometimes demands moral compromise. Georgiou, for her part, confronts her own history. Through conversations with Alok, she learns he was born during the 21st century eugenics wars and forcibly augmented by a tyrant who murdered his family. He recognizes in Georgiou the same ruthless logic of power. Yet she has changed subtly, reluctantly. The revelation that someone within their operational sphere tipped off the mirror no adds another layer of paranoia. Trust erodes as they realize the knowledge of the Godsend's existence had to originate from one of them. Meanwhile, the anomaly is set to reopen in hours, giving the Terran Empire a window to cross over. The team must decide: destroy the weapon, close the anomaly, or use Georgiou's knowledge to manipulate events on both sides. Georgiou ultimately accepts responsibility for creating the Godsend. The weapon symbolizes her old philosophy: rule through terror, secure loyalty through fear. Confronted with the consequences of her past and the death of Mel, she begins to shift. Rather than default to annihilation, she works with the team to prevent the weapon's use and stop the coming incursion. The climax hinges on whether Georgiou will choose domination or protection. Though still sharp-tongued and pragmatic, she refuses to let the Terran Empire repeat her mistakes in another universe. After escaping the destruction of their previous vessel via emergency transporter, the Section 31 team finds themselves stranded on a desolate planet. Their ship is gone sabotaged. It becomes immediately clear that whoever stole the apocalyptic weapon known as the Godsend had inside help. Suspicion spreads rapidly. One of them is a mole. With fewer than 4 hours before a recurring ion storm reopens a passageway between universes, allowing the Terran Empire to retrieve the Godsend and potentially invade the Federation. Paranoia threatens to tear the team apart. Alok Sahar tries to restore order, but accusations fly among the operatives: Quasi the brilliant but scattered scientist, Zeph the heavily mechanized soldier, Fuzz the volatile Nanakin piloting a Vulcan-shaped robotic shell, and Lieutenant Rachel Garrett the Starfleet officer assigned as oversight. Emperor Philippa Georgiou, former ruler of the Terran Empire and architect of the Godsend, watches the discord with sharp calculation. Trust is thin and everyone has motive. Fuzz insists he has hatchlings on the way and would never betray the mission. Garrett invokes Starfleet principles. Quasi spirals through branching possibilities. The clock ticks. They discover an abandoned garbage scow in orbit, an old refuse collection vessel equipped with tractor beams used to gather debris and dump it into a nearby nebula where radiation disintegrates waste. It is outdated but potentially salvageable. Meanwhile, the planet's antenna array could still send a warning to the Federation if repaired. The team splits up. Georgiou, Quasi and Fuzz head to ready the scout. Alok, Garrett and Zeph work on the antenna. Before repairs can stabilize, someone activates the antenna array and sends a signal. Zeph disappears. Soon after, he is found dead. Evidence appears damning. Zeph's blood is under Garrett's fingernails and Garrett's DNA is on Zeph. Tensions erupt and Georgiou interrogates Garrett mercilessly, suggesting Starfleet placed her in Section 31 because she secretly thrives in moral gray zones. Garrett denies it. She may bend rules, but she will not murder. Quasi salvages partial footage from Zeph's exoskeleton, revealing something shocking: Zeph killed himself. The apparent sabotage and murder were staged. Georgiou pieces together the truth with ruthless clarity. The mole is Fuzz. As a Nanakin colony organism capable of entering machinery, Fuzz set his Vulcan robot on autopilot, infiltrated Zeph's suit and took control from within. He forced Zeph to send the transmission through the antenna array, then destroyed evidence and planted incriminating traces on Garrett. His motive is ideological. The Nanokins ruled their own domains before large humanoid powers like the Federation arrived. With the Godsend, Fuzz believes small species like his can reclaim dominance after large civilizations are annihilated. When confronted, Fuzz triggers Zeph's suit in a last-ditch attack and escapes in a shuttle. He heads toward San, the former Terran slave who once competed alongside Georgiou and survived by slowly building immunity to poison. San is alive and now orchestrating events. He intends to detonate the Godsend near the interdimensional passageway as the ion storms converge. When the Terran Empire crosses through, they will find the Federation crippled, making conquest effortless. San seeks to outshine Georgiou and become savior of the Empire by delivering a new universe. Georgiou is shaken to her core. San was the boy she once loved, the only person who understood her during the brutal childhood trials that forged her into Emperor. She believed he died. Now he stands as her nemesis, twisted by the empire she created. Alok challenges her directly. This catastrophe is her legacy. The Godsend is her philosophy, weaponized. If she could not rule, nothing would survive. Despite despair, Georgiou reveals she secretly removed the asymptote coil from the garbage scow earlier, hiding it to prevent sabotage. With the mole exposed, she reinstalls it. The scow powers up. Their only viable weapon is its tractor beam, the same system used to collect space garbage. They launch toward the Crescent Nebula as the ion storm intensifies. San's Terran ship is heavily armed with proton cannons and torpedoes. The scow is barely space-worthy. As photon torpedoes rain down, Alok orders Quasi to hold course rather than evade. The plan is desperate: drag San's vessel with the tractor beam into the nebula's radiation field. The radiation will degrade shields on both ships, but San's advanced systems will suffer faster under sustained exposure. The tractor beam locks. Radiation surges. Systems fail across both vessels. Shields collapse incrementally. Meanwhile, Fuzz attempts to return to San's ship in his shuttle, intending to detach and survive the impending explosion. Nanokins, being microscopic colonies, can endure catastrophic blasts better than large organisms. He boasts that small life outlasts empires. Garrett, embracing what she calls controlled chaos, improvises a countermeasure. She discovers that Fuzz's shuttle contains drone technology powered by unstable terrenium. With precise scientific calculation, she destabilizes it mid-flight. The shuttle detonates before Fuzz can rejoin San. The blast destroys Fuzz. Back in the nebula, San's shields drop to zero. Georgiou boards his vessel amid the chaos. Their confrontation is raw and intimate. San accuses her of condemning him to slavery, of murdering her own innocence in pursuit of power. He claims he will rule better with righteous mercy rather than fear. Georgiou counters that there are no benevolent dictators. He learned tyranny from her. The Godsend's detonation sequence begins. The passageway opens as the ion storms converge. Terran ships prepare to cross. Georgiou pleads with San to stop. For a moment, their old bond resurfaces. They confess love, an echo of the whispered "we are two but one" from childhood. But it is too late. San has committed fully to the path she once walked. With seconds remaining, Georgiou makes her final choice. She locks the Godsend's detonation onto the passageway itself. Instead of annihilating the Federation quadrant, the explosion collapses the interdimensional corridor. The Terran invasion route implodes. Georgiou asks Alok a final question: if he could return to the moment before his tyrant fury destroyed his family, would he sacrifice himself to stop her? He answers yes. Georgiou smiles faintly. Alok and Garrett are transported back to the scow just before the blast. Georgiou remains behind. The Godsend detonates, consuming San's ship and collapsing the passageway. The Terran Empire is cut off. In the aftermath, the surviving team regroups. Garrett is promoted to lieutenant commander. Section 31 offers her a permanent role. The tone shifts from tragedy to uneasy camaraderie. At Georgiou's former bar on the Baram station, Alok meets her again alive. She survived, though how remains ambiguous. Section 31 has extended her another offer. She toys with it as always. The team toasts to survival. A surprise arrives, another Vulcan-shaped conveyance appears piloted by Wisp Fuzz's wife. Nanokins, it seems, are difficult to eradicate. She joins the team, hinting that Fuzz may also have survived in some microscopic form. Control assigns their next mission, Turkana 4. The film ends with the team intact but altered. Georgiou has finally confronted the embodiment of her past and chosen destruction of her own creation over domination. She is no longer merely a tyrant displaced in time but a figure walking the knife edge between monster and protector. Chaos remains her companion, but now perhaps it serves something larger than power. If you enjoy watching this video, then subscribe to Angel Recaps for the latest movies explanation.